And they quote expression which they claim the Prophet said, my relationship to the other prophets is like a man who is like a house that was built, but there was one part missing for it to be completed, and that completion came through me. This Quran doesn't present that image at all. Of course, people who say that, they are waxing with this kind of pride that they are superior and that Muhammad is superior, because they are involved in all these things. They are involved in judging the messengers of Allah who is more superior than the other, and which community is better than the other. Because these are cheap currencies and it's easy to use them in society. The Qur'an definitely says in chapter 5 verse 3, الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ. A message is being sent to the people of the Prophet. Don't take it literally, understand it in context. But because the people took it literally, today, in their translation, I have completed your religion. That's their common translation. Today. To me, yesterday it was not. According to this kind of translation. الْيَوْمَ أَكْمَلْتُ لَكُمْ دِينَكُمْ وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي. And I perfected all my favors upon you. وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. And I have chosen for you Islam as your religion. This is the translation that doesn't bother intelligent, responsible Muslims. All this is telling us, when you understand the Qur'anic message, is, oh people, you have no excuse for not doing the right thing. Because your deen that you are expected to follow, that social divine order that you are expected to follow, lacks nothing, is complete. This al-yawm doesn't mean today, which is different from yesterday. It doesn't mean that. It means in your time you have no excuse, because the deen of Allah, that divine social order that is there to preserve society and enhance society, lacks nothing as far as what this Prophet has brought to you. وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي. And all that you could wish for and require to carry out this task is presented to you, is completed. If you go to the Qur'an in chapter 14, Surah Ibrahim, verse 34, you will understand that Allah is not asking human beings to do something in their own interest, and He has not given them the skills to do it and the tools to do it. The Qur'an says, وَآتَاكُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ مَا سَأَلْتُمُوهُ. And the divine grace has given you, O humans, everything that you have asked for. وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. And the common translation, and I have chosen for you Islam as your religion. Nothing can be far from the truth. Islam is not a religion. And this word Islam comes from the verb aslama. It's an active noun. And it means in a state of submission. In a state of submission. It doesn't mean the name of a banner or the name of a religion. So there is no way that any messenger told you and told me, through the revelations that we have in our hand called the Qur'an, that God has chosen this religion for us, and it's called Islam. And it became perfect in the time of Mohamed. Too bad for Jesus. Too bad for his followers. Too bad for Moses and his followers. Too bad for Abraham and his followers. They didn't have a complete religion. That's why they got to leave everything they were doing and adopt the Prophet. Nobody's got to leave anything. All human beings are required to adhere to the divine social order. We'll find that the prophets were very concerned about this. This is what they school their children on. We find in the Qur'an in chapter 2, 132, the dialogue of Abraham and Yaqub with their progeny. And the Qur'an tells us, وَوَصَّى بِهَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ بَنِيهِ وَيَعْقُوبُ. And Abraham and Jacob they bequeathed a legacy to their children. And their main concern was, Ya Baniya, O dear children, Inna Allah astafa lakumuddin. Allah has chosen for you a divine social order. Inna Allah astafa lakumuddin فَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. And this was not in the time of Prophet Muhammad. This was the time of Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Yaqub that this word Muslim was being used. But it was not being used as a name tag. So they told their children, they say, فَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Ensure that you do not as we say, literally die. Don't degenerate, don't fall into decay. إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Except that you must do everything at your disposal to become whom? Muslims. Not people with badges. Not people with identification marks. Not people with names. But people with the attribute and characteristic of submitting to divine social order. So the prophets, all of them, they spoke about deen. Deen was very big on their agenda. The Qur'an tells us what Allah assured the beloved Prophet with. If you go to Surah Tawbah, verse 33, chapter 9, verse 33, very popular ayah. هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى. It is He, Allah, who sent His messenger. And this does not refer only to Prophet Muhammad. All the prophets of Allah, this verse is applicable to them. هُوَ الَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى. It is He, Allah, who sent His messenger bilhuda. What is huda? Hidayah means that experience, those characteristics, those qualities that are away from darkness. They're away from gloominess. They're away from oppression and exploitation. So every prophet came with that gift of guidance. And that gift of guidance, when it is manifested in you or me or anyone, what it does, it removes such individual from an environment of dhulm and dhulumat, from an environment of darkness, stagnation, backwardness, listlessness, non-productivity, oppression, suppression, exploitation, dehumanization. It removes the individual from those arenas